Good afternoon, everyone. It's Good Friday. This is our Good Friday edition of Flashpoint, manifesting the moment of your big breakthrough. I'm going to keep this intro short and sweet. My name's Austin. I'm the founder of Flashpoint and also the host of this TV show that you're now getting, whether it's on Facebook, YouTube, Apple TV, Amazon, Roku. Welcome in. We are excited because we just launched a brand new book called Your Health Turnaround Story. So if you are looking to improve your health, maybe you got some recent news that your health isn't so good. Maybe your energy level's low. Maybe you're just like, I need to lose some weight. I need to change my health. Well, guess what? You are in the right place. I'm going to give you an opportunity to purchase this brand new book. You're going to be able to get this book signed copy from me or just order it on Amazon. It is available. It's got incredible authors in it. And today I'm going to keep this short and sweet. I am going to share the broadcast of the summit we had on January 23rd. We got the authors together. They shared their stories live with you. If you're looking for a health turnaround, stay with us. If you know someone who is looking for answers, looking to lose weight, increase their energy, get over a condition, maybe they got some recent news, I'm telling you, share this. What if you could access over 100 years of study and research on health? I know people are not healthy. I have the conversations. Please share this with somebody. People need to improve their health. It was one of the top searched words on Google for improvement was health. So I know people are looking for this. We have over 100 years of research. Dr. George Grant, Jim Grant, Dr. Phil Harris, Amy Grusing, Joe T-Well, Gregory Hall. And we're going to learn about all the incredible authors right now. First, dial into the moment, embrace what is. This is the present moment. And I want to welcome you today. I'm done my rant, and we're going to jump into the summit. But what's done is done. What hasn't happened, there's no need to go there. Dial into right now. Embrace what is. It's where your power is. It's the power of the pure presence, which is our gift we have. And I don't care how many times you failed in the past, just like Thomas Edison, who failed 10,000 times, but lo, the light bulb became real in terms of its scope, its ability to last and sustain that light. 10,000 failures. What are you willing to fail 10,000 times and say, I did not fail. I successfully created 10,000 ways it would not work. Let's jump into the summit because we have limited time. We're going to jump into this summit as if we're jumping in live. It's already in progress. And let me share it with you. It's already in progress. So we're going to jump into the middle. But before I do that, I want to give you an opportunity to buy the book. And we have a QR code that I'm going to share with you right now. For those of you on Apple TV, Amazon, Roku, let me remove myself. You can get your phone out, open up your camera, let your camera bring into focus this QR code. It'll take you right to the link of the book. So I'm going to pause right now to do that before we jump into the live summit. It's rebroadcasted. We're going to jump into the middle of that. If you're listening to this rebroadcasted, you can hit pause. And again, put your camera up there. It'll take you right to the link so you can buy the book called Your Health Turnaround Story. All right, here we go. Let's jump into this summit, the power of technology. Here I go. We're going to go right into this. I'm excited to share this with you right now.
On that note, let's talk to somebody who's doing just that with all her plant life. Mo, Mike.
Hello. I just absolutely love this because there's a common theme here is that we've all been through these traumatic health turnarounds in our life. And what it really, really boils down to is there's a moment where we realize that it's so much bigger than the disease or the health challenge or the, you know, whatever the case may be. It really, really boils down to getting to the root core issues of what is creating the disease. And that's exactly what it was for me. You know, I went through major, major traumas for the majority of my life. I got a cancer that only 5% at my age, the age that I got it, you know, and it really, and I did the genetic testing. I went to the doctors. I did all of that. I went to the therapy. I went to the psychologist. I got diagnosed. It was like all of these things, but nobody could tell me what the trigger was. And what it really was the fact that I was carrying all this trauma and this craziness inside of me that I was refusing to deal with. And it was coming up, these symptoms. Cancer was a symptom. These diseases are symptoms of an internal imbalance within us. And if we don't deal with those core issues, those root core issues, there is no pill, there is no plant, there is no therapy out there that's going to fix the imbalance within our lives. And you can hear it again and again and again in each one of these stories that we're going down. And it's beautiful that we found a moment in our lives where we connected with the earth, we connected with ourselves, and we decided that enough was enough. And we found a journey. Each one of us found a journey to our own healing in our own way. And it's beautiful. And now we want to change the world. We want to say, hey, this is what worked for me. Now let me guide you along the way to help you as well. And it's just amazing. That's my story, you know, as well as everyone else's that's on here.
Yes, thank you so much, Marone. So many other things about your story that we're not even really hitting on. It's just that whole the things that you go through. And I just want to point that out to people because you see your smile. You were on the show on Friday, and you just want to share a quick snippet about some of the things you're dealing with right now.
I have a lot of health issues, but growing up, I dealt with a lot of trauma from sexual abuse to my parents were separated. I was a ward of the state during my teenagers, in and out of foster care. I dealt with a lot of physical, emotional abuse, and I carried that into my adulthood in the relationships that I had around me, because what we don't realize is we continue a pattern in our lives because that's what's comfortable. That's what we're comfortable with. And then we wonder why we continue to have these traumas and these things and these patterns in our lives. And until we deal with all of that, and, even continuing now, it's created such an imbalance in my life. I'm in my 40s now, but I have a lot of health issues. Not, I'm maybe a cancer survivor, but I also have an autoimmune. I have Hashimoto's. I have a 6-millimeter pituitary adenoma. I'm deaf in one ear from autosclerosis. I'm going to eventually be completely deaf. I had a surgery that didn't work. I deal with PTSD, anxiety from the traumas in my life. But you see this, smile on my face, and, a lot of us on here, and it's about invisible illness. You never know what's really going on the inside with someone else. And, our healing, our journey really just starts with getting real, those meditations, health, wellness, mind, body, spirit, and getting connected. And it's a journey. It's such a journey, and it's a lifelong journey. There is no pill to fix it. There is no coaching program to fix all of your problems. It's a lifelong journey that you have to continuously live. It's a lifestyle.
Absolutely. Beautiful.
That's why we should never quit, right? Because we have the opportunity to change from the inside out. And all these diseases, these things that cause us stress and anxiety, whether it's the mind, whether it's physical, spiritual, they all begin on the inside out, and they're stored at the cellular level. And the cells are what keep the body in its motor phase. It keeps us running, keeps us going. So if we don't get the proper nutrients and everything the cells need, then how can the organs function properly? And as you said, same here, and probably for most of us here, the traumas that are stored in our cells from an early age or whenever they started carry with us until we can change the patterns of how we deal with them and how they affect our life. And once we do that, then the body starts to change. You're amazing, just like everybody. Thank you, Mama Mo. Okay, so we'll move on to Amy. Amy.
Hello.
So, good to see you again. And look at you, radiantly glowing. What is it with you women today? You're just smiling radiantly. So beautiful. It's awesome.
Yes, it is.
Amy, take us back very briefly. Just tell us what happened to bring you to your turnaround and how that turnaround
I'm sorry, man. Let me jump in real quick. So at this point, we just want to know what happened.
What happened?
We're going to get into the decisions that these people made, like that you all made. I want to know. We're going to get into that in the future segment here. What was that decision? There was a decision that was made. So I'm going to prime you here for that. But Amy, we do want to know, like, where was that early memory of when that you got that news or something happened?
So with me, I've actually been on the health and wellness journey. It started with my son. And so I knew how to take care of myself. Like, I knew the vitamins, I knew the supplements, I knew all those things, but I did not take care of myself emotionally. And so I had a therapist tell me I was dealing with codependency. She gave me the book she had written on it, and I just laughed and put it in the drawer and put it away. And I was like, that's not me. But I spent my life trying to fix everybody. And it wore me out. I liken it to being like a hamster on a wheel. I kept going and going. And it was all like, fix my husband, fix my kids, fix our business, work is all I knew. And my faith in God is strong. So I thought it was like, oh, I have peace. I have this joy. I have this all inside of me. But I didn't, because I didn't allow myself to feel what I was feeling. And so 4 years ago, I found myself, like, my body completely broke down. I also suffered with an autoimmune. I had severe allergies. But I literally couldn't move for 6 weeks. And I looked at my life and said, what is going on? Why did I get to this place? I know how to juice. I know how to do all these things physically. I thought I was taking care of myself, but I wasn't taking care of myself emotionally. And I didn't allow myself to not be okay. Not because I was trying to fix everyone else. I couldn't look inside and see what was wrong with me. And so that's why my passion is to tell the world, if you don't deal with your feelings, if you don't deal with the past, those feelings, like the biggest lie in the world is that time heals all wounds. Because time actually makes all wounds worse for the ones that you haven't dealt with.
Yeah.
And so I had to so that my flashpoint was to say, what needs to change in my life? Because I'm used to being an active person and I can't even walk, and the pain was so severe. And so I looked inside and said, I need to figure out, like, what is going on. And so I didn't mention, I actually do essential oils as a big part of how I coach and help women, especially. But I had to look and allow myself to feel my feelings and be okay with not being okay, and go from there.
That's a huge thing. It continues to come up, being okay with not being okay.
Yeah. We said that. Well, we've said it with everyone yesterday with Monique, right? It is okay to be okay. It is okay to cry. It's when we don't allow those feelings to come out, that's when they get reinverted back within and cause all the problems. So around mental health, we've got to be more open and more allow people to express themselves and not feel shamed. And I honor you for being that way, for recognizing it in yourself and allowing it to come out so that you could help others.
I wouldn't have even told you I had anxiety. I would have just been like, I did not allow myself to go there. So it's being able to be real with yourself and allow how you're feeling is the only way that you can actually process it and let go and release it.
Yeah. Keeping your own integrity. Yes. Yeah. Definitely.
I got to share this with you because this is a personal thing. I'm going to deviate for a moment.
Sure.
But I had a dream this morning, and it was my dad was in the dream, and he had my dad passed in 2018. But the dream was powerful because in the dream, my dad was like crying, and he was having like almost like a release. And what came to me was he lived with a lot of stuff trapped inside, and in the dream, he was releasing. And I think a lot of times we try to be something for someone else or for society, and we're not allowing ourselves to feel. We're trapping the emotions. Like Dr. Grant Joe said, it's not what you're eating, it's what's eating you.
Amen.
We don't know it's eating us because we're meeting this expectation. We're making the money. We're going after the career. We're doing all the stuff. We're taking care of everyone, making everyone happy. Meanwhile, we're not realizing what we're doing internally. And I think that's where the body says there's a point where it says enough. Enough is enough. And then it's the breakdown moment, which we're going through now. And you're all so amazing and courageous to share this. And I know people, we're talking about it, and you've shared your story before, but it takes courage to look back on yourself with grace and be able to share these stories today as we're going through them. So I just felt led to share that because I felt, someone needs to hear that. And Amy, thank you for evoking, really.
Mhm.
Yeah. For sharing that too, because it's so precious and priceless to be able to go back, and it's not just courageous that you can share your story, but it goes beyond that, because once you've had that courage to share your story and you begin to see the impact it's making on other people, or the option for it to make an impact on other people, then you realize what your journey was all about. You have a purpose, and I've got goosebumps because that purpose then infuses you to keep going and to keep sharing, to keep growing, and to keep turning your pain into your passion and your fear into success. And this is what inspires the human spirit. And I'm just so grateful to each of you. So thank you, Amy. Thank you so much.
So much.
Back
Yeah.
to the other Dr. Grant.
Well, what we're going to do, let me jump in for 1 second, Mandy, because I'm watching the clock. What I want to do is I do want to hit Mr. Jim Grant, and I do want to hit Professor Dr. George. I want to get everybody ready for this next round. I want to know what that decision is. So we've already heard part of Dr. Grant's story. We've heard part of Jim's story. So before we transition into the decisions that were made, that the earliest decision you can remember, like Jim shared, Jim, I love this when you said a calm came over me. That's a great segue to transition into this next segment. So what I want to do is, Jim, just a brief, anything you want to share to that initial time when you were going through that pain point. And then from there, we're going to transition into the decisions that were made.
Well, at that time, I didn't even think about it, which was a plus because it didn't require any intelligence. I just simply made a proclamation of how I felt at that moment. And ironically, this led me into another calling, which I can share a little bit later if you like, not only for myself, but for others, because I know what it's like to feel like a block of cheese and the way life sometimes can gnaw on you like a rat. And that's what happened to me.
Yeah.
Wow. But just to hit, for those that are just joining, Jim had a condition called the widowmaker. He didn't know it. All his signs were normal. Found himself in a hospital, and going through this pain, this calm came over you, and you just, and I love the fact that you just embraced what was. I mean, this is so powerful right here. This is all we're talking about. You embraced it in that moment. And maybe it was your journey. Maybe it was all the goodwill you've poured out there, all the positive message you've given, but you were able to embrace this. And I think faith, you talked about your faith, a huge part of this. So let's transition now. So what was an early decision that you made that after this calm came over you? Was there any other decision, or was it just simply a letting go?
It was just simply accepting the fact that I was in the condition I was in, what I was told, and I just simply, accepted it as a fact. And my attitude was, I've always been a guy that just says, "Hey, bring it on. Let's face it. I'm a warrior at heart. I don't make a good coward. I guess I'm too dumb or something, but but I don't run from things. I just don't."
Yeah, and you're a testament. I really. And anyway, I'm excited to continue this, and maybe we can let the cat out of the bag about some collaboration here before we get to the end. But we'll let you marinate on that. We can maybe make a soft announcement or something like that. So yeah, so beautiful. Was there any other decisions that happened in the process that you felt like you got your power back?
Well, the one thing that really led me to the next level, having the heart attack is one thing, open heart surgery and all that. That's personal. I was laying on the couch there and I'm thinking, why me, Lord? What did I do to deserve this? And then my answer came unexpectedly through my neighbor. I went over to take some goodies for him during Christmas. And he says, hey, Jim, did you realize that almost 75% of the people who wind up in an ER with heart conditions like you have no previous blood pressure or cholesterol level problems? I'm like, really? And I found that out. So therefore, my mission in life, ladies and gentlemen, is to take this to the next level, because I don't want you to go through what I went through. I know what it's like. It is no fun. But thank the good Lord, everything went well. And my mission is to take that message to you and to everyone else.
You see how your pain becomes your passion? This is so beautiful, Jim. Think about that statistic. 75% of the people that end up in there had no indication that they should have been there. We will have you back on the show to talk literally about that, because we're going to have you on the show. And we want to dive into that, and we'll schedule that out. So everyone look for that interview. That's going to be amazing. Thank you so much for sharing that. I'm going to get Mandy back on with us. Oh, there she is. Okay, Mandy, I'm going to just want to turn over to you for a moment here as we move forward and we transition.
Sure. We've got to hear one more point from Dr. George Grant.
Yes, thank you.
That happened. Give us some extra on what happened. You'd already spoken about. You're very welcome, my friend. Very welcome. Can you fill us in a little bit more?
Sure. I just want to comment about Jim's situations. When I scanned him before Christmas, before Halloween, when he had this episode, what I actually told him when I did the scan, that he had a little bit of clogging in the left ventricle. And I told him to stop any dairy, any fried food, any fast food, any of the bread, the rice, and the sugar, and the cookies, and all the stuff. He did not take me seriously. He said, all my vitals are okay. My blood pressure is okay. All of my blood sugar is okay. HbA1c is okay. What are you talking about? I said, listen, Jim, do what I'm telling you to do, because when you have 50% blocking of your left ventricle, you don't get any symptoms, by the way. So anyway, I wanted to make an advice for everybody to do this regular scans with your physician and with me, to do exactly what's happening inside your arteries, because that's what I have the passion to do. This is very important to do. Okay. So that's when,
Dr. Grant, I'd like to follow you up on that, because I can speak to that personally as well. When I've had pulmonary embolisms, right?
Yes.
And they were not caught until I was close to death. And had I not persevered with walking into a hospital and saying, I'm not leaving till somebody tells me what's going on, and a doctor throwing the file in the air and all the papers go on the floor, and a student comes in, did they do a urine sample? No, they didn't. She takes one, and the next thing I'm being hooked up to wires and rushed off to ICU, and I'm almost dead.
Yes.
So your scanner can detect what doctors cannot detect. And I've got to stop saying that, because I know that you've scanned me, and I'm not going to get into my stuff here, but you have shown me things that could not have been known by you. That scanner is get in touch with Grant and get yourself scanned, because he can save your life, just as he did with I go to call him the other Dr. Grant, Jim Grant.
Yeah, we're brothers by different mothers.
Yes. Both granted the same option.
He got the intelligence, and I got the personality. And he got the good looks too.
Mandy, everything is preventable and reversible. As Mama Momo said, everything can be reversed. And by the way, you notice that Mama Mo has a picture behind her that makes it like a crown. I have a brand new thing for you. The picture actually make a crown around you. So your new branding name now, Mama Mo, is Queen Mama Mo, because that picture around you is like making like a queen. Queen Mama Mo.
Ring the bells on that. We got the January jingle bell.
But you know, Mandy, as Mama Mo said, as Amy said, every disease in the dictionary is reversible and preventable. I believe this from the bottom of my heart.
Yeah.
But you've got to watch what you eat, what you do not eat, as Joe was saying, and what is eating you for stress. Because stress can cause 80% of all diseases, regardless, whether it's cancer, high blood pressure, diabetes, PTSD, as Mama Mo was saying. All of this stuff can be reversed, okay?
Mm-hmm.
But you have to focus on PMS. Nothing to do with women. PMS stands for physical, mental, and spiritual well-being. If you are balanced physically, mentally, and spiritually, God bless you. You're going to be living till age 111 and beyond, because that's really the key here. Get a balance, because balance is wellness. Imbalance is illness. No drug that I know of, and I taught pharmacology for many, many years, and I also taught toxicology, can fix anybody's problem only for short term. So my mission in life is to get somebody like Jim Grant to recover from this open heart surgery fully now, to get this guy recovered from 28 meds and 2 bypass and 2 stents, recovered fully at 79 years young. And he's now 101, healthy, no meds, no bypass, and no stents. Yeah, this is before and this is after.
Yes.
And that's my mission in life. So that's really, we want to help people to have health turnaround from Hashimoto, from Graves, from PTSD, from cancer. Everything is reversible and everything is preventable. We've done 25 books on the topic. We've spoke to 2.3 million people virtually, 23 million, and my picture is right there. You see that?
Yes.
I am the youngest and handsome doctor there. Okay.
Beautiful.
Oh, Dr. Grant.
You know what? And I just want to share this because I want to hit this because we got about 35 minutes left. So we're gonna move into some acceleration, and we're gonna keep time so that we land exactly where we need to land. But I want to talk about the frequency part of medicine. There's more research coming out on frequency and how our bodies are energy. And I did some research, and just not to impress you, but just to kind of paint the picture that our bodies have about 7 octillion atoms in them.
Yes.
And every atom has electrons circling them, right? So the electrons are moving at 1,400 miles per second. And the size, proportionally speaking, an atom is like having the center of an atom is like having a peanut shell in the middle of a baseball stadium. Like that's the radius, the proportion. And these electrons are moving at 1,400 miles per second. Your body is a vibration, and they're learning more about frequency. And Dr. Grant does that in some of the work that he's doing with the mobile scanner. And there's just power in frequency. Returning, like Gregory was outside, returning to the Earth's natural frequency. It's so I just want to point that out and highlight that as we're talking about what we're eating, what we're not eating, what's eating us. There's also the power of frequency and being calibrated and being in rhythm and in tune. Let's see. Someone is trying to get into the studio. Okay, well, we're going to fix this. But anyway, as we segue, Mandy, I'm going to turn it back to you, and let's set this up. We got about 35 minutes.
Okay, so we're going to go into the decision.
Yeah, we need to know what was the decision
they made.
Right.
So, and go on.
I was going to say, so we're going to keep time. So I want you to stick to this. What was the decision that you made that was that turnaround, that spark, right? That turning point. I made this decision. I had the calm come over me. I was never going to live this way again. Whatever that decision was, I want to hear and I want our audience, our listeners to hear that. And then from the last segment, we're just going to share like some final thoughts, how the people can connect with you. And we're going to close this out, and we're going to have an amazing, amazing show. It's already been an amazing show if we ended now.
Oh, we could be here all day. It's so magnificent and powerful. Okay.
And we're going to hear from Daphne again. We're going to hear from Daphne again, by the way, on the book. So that's coming as well.
Okay, so let's spearhead this. Let's fire through it. Just something very briefly. Start with you, Joe. What was the decision that you made at your turning point? What prompted you to say, this is it, I'm doing that? Joe.
When my body, got to a point where that breaking point where I had that overdose, that was the moment of clarity. And what I decided was that I was no longer going to be a victim of my environment. I'm no longer going to be dependent upon the things that I don't want in my life to be the dominion of my life. And I didn't know anything any better being so young. I lacked resources. I lacked maturity. I lacked good foundation spiritually. So what I decided, my favorite movie was Rocky. And what Rocky did is he started training as an underdog. And then I sat in that movie theater as a boy at 9, and I watched that in tears because I felt his hurts and his pain and his moment of doubt. And I'm like, that's who I'm going to be. So instead of drinking alcohol, I ran. Instead of doing drugs, I lifted weights. And I would do these multiple times per day. And I know that sounds like I'm far-fetched, guys. I was in my little basement weight room lifting sand weights 3 times a day, running every moment that I needed alcohol and drugs and to be acknowledged by people. I went out and I just sought something that I knew would make me better and give me a life.
Joe, I love it. I love it. I love it. I got to say this, Mandy, I don't know if you know this, but our next event in March, we are planning to have, we're going to take everybody over to the Rocky Steps. We're going to go up those steps and we are going to videographer the whole thing.
I'm coming.
I just want to throw that out there. We couldn't have planned for this, but so good. So good.
The
I love
miracles
that.
happen when synchronicity, when the energy is vibrating at a high level to make it all happen. That is awesome, Austin. If I didn't know that is awesome. Joe, thanks again for sharing that. It's good to get to the pivotal moment, right? Because you hear a lot about, well, I was this, I was that, and I didn't know this or that. But when you gain the clarity and say, I hit rock bottom right here, and this is what made me turn around, my decision to go up.
Mandy, I just want to add, that has become my absolute mission and passion. Is to help people crawl out of rock bottom to their very best. I mean, physiologically, mentally, and spiritually.
You're doing it, Joe.
Couldn't have said that better. Crawl out of rock bottom. It's like a phrase I always use. Rock bottom is a firm foundation to start rebuilding by looking up. Namaste, friend. Thank you.
Beautiful.
Let's go to Monique. What was your hello again? Yeah.
I had a lot, but my main point for me was when I was going through, after I went through treatment and was put on a medication called Premarin, which is short for pregnant mare urine, which they take dehydrated horses and concentrate a hormone in their urine. And they give this to women who are on hormone replacement treatment. And so I, ethically being the animal lover and the person I was, after doing the research, was like, there is absolutely no way I'm taking this medication. So where do I go from here? What do I do from here? And so it started this journey on how to heal myself holistically and naturally and find alternative ways and alternative medicine to go against, what I believed wasn't working best for me. And that was my turning point. That's when I fell in love with nature. That's when I fell in love with myself, because during that journey through plant medicine and holistic healing, I realized that it was so much more than just healing the body. It was healing the mind. It was healing my spirit. It was healing the whole constitution of the person that I was. And I started down that journey of healing myself completely, not just from a diagnosis, not just from a medication to, take those symptoms and just push them down so that they're not there. I learned how to heal myself really. And that's really where it started, was finding out honestly and truly what I was putting into my body.
Absolutely.
Beautiful.
Isn't this a recurring theme here that we're talking about taking off the band-aids of the pharmaceutical world? Take off the band-aids and head to the natural world? That's what I'm picking up anyway. That's what I'm picking up. Thank you, Mama Mo. Once again, sister, love you. Jim, let's go to Jim Grant. I didn't use the doctor, but I'm going to now. Dr. Jim
Oh, my goodness. That's okay. I tell you, it's really amazing because my main story, my main turning point is what I found out when I was feeling sorry for myself. That's the way life sometimes comes along, slaps you in the face and say, what's wrong with you? You know, I mean, it's perfectly normal and natural to feel, you know, down after you go through, like, why me out here puffing, you know, 20 years. And, you know, I quit smoking in 1975. I did not face, walked away from it, quit cooking in 1981 when I give up drink, give up a can, 2 or 3 shots of tequila, heavy. So I've been a survivor. But my message to you is, most of the people who wind up in the ER, no heart problems, no blood pressure, no problems, I could have done 1 or 2 things. I could have said, wow, that's interesting. Or I could take that message to the world.
Yes.
So therefore, what do you think would be the best thing for me to do? We know the answer to that. Now, my question to you, ladies and gentlemen, is when you find out your calling in life, your special gift, something that hits you in the face and says, hey, quit feeling sorry for yourself, or wake up and get it in gear and get it going.
Yeah.
What are you going to do for others in
What
their
is it?
hour of need? That's our calling.
What is it you do for others in the hour of need? Oh,
And I'd like to say one more thing about Dr. Grant. Such an inspiring guy. And you know what he told me? What he told me, ladies and gentlemen, he says, Jim, I got some great news for you. In addition to all these extra years I got now, you know, and wonderful health. He says, the good news for you, Jim, it doesn't take much intelligence. Oh, okay, that is great news.
Very good. Very good.
If I was serious, Dr. George Grant would want to do another scan on me real quickly from the head. Right in here.
I know Dr. Grant, he's already scanned everyone here. Listen, we're gonna move. We got 25 minutes, and we still got to bring Daphne back on. So I am going to jump in. What was your decision? Let's go to Gregory.
Gregory.
He's back inside now.
Yeah, my decision was wasting time for so long, right? You've been doing something for so long and it isn't working for you. I had to search for something that would work for me. And, you know, when you are blindsided by what you believe is something that is going to heal you, but year after year after year after year, it actually makes you worse than where you started from. That was my catalyst to basically start learning about old modalities that they've been using for hundreds and thousands of years and incorporate them with new stuff that we're using to basically figure out everything. I don't want to diagnose or treat anybody on this call, but I just want to say that we need to look at what other people are saying. We can't just be saying, because government says it's not true, that it's not true. Guess what? They made it to space. They're going to Mars, right? They're doing things that they're not telling you. So let's open up our eyes and open up our bodies and actually evolve. When a bird wakes up in the morning, it does what a bird does. It chirps. It does everything that a bird does to the best of its ability. Now it's time for us as humans to do the same thing. Let's actually evolve instead of depressing ourselves and staying put.
Beautiful.
Amen to that. Absolutely. Amen to that. Wow.
So
Thank you.
let's
Thank
keep
you
moving.
so much, Greg. We'll move on to Amy then. Amy, so
Mm.
what was your decision? What was the point where you made the decision that something had to change?
That I actually mattered. And that
Oh.
might sound crazy, but everything I was doing was for everybody else. And so I had to get to the point where I was worthy, that I get to be here, and that my life matters, and that I was worthy of taking care of me, and how I felt was, like I said, is okay to be okay. And so that is my mission. Is I started my journey because I still cared about my kids more than myself.
Yes.
I lived for their dreams, you know, to help them find their dreams, help my husband, but I didn't let myself dream for myself, and I didn't know how to value and love myself. And once I started choosing me, the miracles have been happening. I just turned 50 and I feel better than I've ever felt in my life. The relationships I'm getting shook up because the relationships in my life are better than they've ever been. The relationship with my daughter, she's on this mission with me to help people because she used to have severe panic attacks. And so there's so much more I can say because I just want to help so many people. My mission is to tell you that you matter, how you feel matters, your feelings matter, and that you are worthy to be on this earth, and that there's a mission and a purpose, and there's greatness inside of each one of you. And I love you all, and I'm honored to be here.
And happy birthday! Your birthday was a couple days ago, so it's gonna be
Happy birthday, Amy.
Thank you.
Bye, though.
Thank you.
Dr. Grant, any final thoughts on this?
You know what, Mandy? With love, gratitude, and kindness, you can solve all of the world problems. Because I always say our motto is we care, we serve, we educate. We do not medicate, we do not operate, we do not irradiate, we do not vaccinate, and we do not irritate. So basically, if we follow this, you can help the whole world, without having to do any of this. Thank you.
The whole world becomes an oyster.
Beautiful.
Yes, exactly.
This is working out perfectly. So fantastic. So I'm gonna bring Daphne on if we can. I'm gonna squeeze her into the room here. I think we can fit. We got enough squares. It's like Hollywood Squares, right, Jim? You remember Hollywood Squares?
Oh yeah.
But more important than that, for sure. So I'm gonna bring Daphne on. I want to share. We're bringing this project to a close. The book should be out, and I'll let Daphne speak on that. Where we're going to target, and we're going to come back here again. We're going to do another summit to launch the book. Probably a shorter form. And the whole idea is that when that book is available, we're going to come and do this again to really promote this. We'll have some time in between. We can tie up any loose ends. Maybe there's a few of you on here that you need to connect now because there's some things that I say provoked you, evoked you, stoked you, whatever you want to connect. So Daphne, are you ready to come on? Okay. Daphne, welcome back. You helped us launch this. We're in our final sequence here in the next 20 minutes. I know you've been watching. What are you thinking, feeling? And also we want to get an update on the project.
Yeah, congratulations, everyone. As I thought about this morning and talked to Austin, Mandy, and Dr. Grant, I of course have been blessed to read your stories, which you were able to go more in depth with what it is that you've endured, and more importantly, the steps you've taken to find health and wellness in your own lives, which was not an easy route. It wasn't a traditional route. And I seldom find people coming from a place of disease, discomfort, disorder, into a realm of health where they just did the one thing, right? They just took the magic pill or had the magic procedure, and then that was it. They were, smooth sailing ever since. But you all did a lot of deep dives into your own minds, into your own experiences, into the people and places and things that surround you to determine what is health for you and what is best for you. And you took this holistic approach that changed your lives forever. And this is the story that we're encapsulating in these chapters and giving to people. This book is a gift. So to answer Austin's question, and he knows, we are in the final stages of book development. So you all will be receiving your chapters. We'll go through the final edits. I'm still waiting on a couple of chapters, but they're coming soon. So this is all coming into its next phase, which is the editing, proofreading, and then the publishing. So we're looking at maybe a week's time when this will be live on Amazon, but we're not going to push sales until we do everything with Austin to make sure that we get the greatest impact from the sale. we don't want to start pushing sales too soon. So, anyone have any questions or comments so far?
No, I think there's a great update for our listeners that are listening in on this. This is the book is going to be out soon, so hang in there. We're going to we'll launch another summit like this, and we'll get everybody's date. I'm thinking like a couple weeks. You know, we'll nail a day if that works for everyone here. I don't know if it does, but we'll couple weeks is 2 weeks.
And can I just add in there? I've worked with a lot of people over my life, including not to be in a professional mode, but other writers and different people. Working with Daphne is one of the best editing, publishing, everything that she does, professionally, personally, intellectually, everything she puts into it, her heart and soul. This person is the epitome of the most magnificent publisher I've ever had the pleasure and honor of working with, and I'm very grateful.
Absolutely, and this wouldn't happen without Daphne.
No, it wouldn't.
But I'm going to use Jim Pine. I'm not that smart.
Well, most importantly, it wouldn't happen without all of your stories and the vulnerability that you all have put forth is extraordinary. Without your honesty and without you being so brave to come forward with what you've been through and then sharing how you've overcome with others so they can benefit from it. That's what this is all about.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Amen to that. Great job, Daphne. We're glad to have you. And I know we got Dr. Phil. I'm going to see if I can get his audio in here before we. Okay, let me see if we can get his audio. Dr. Phil, I'm going to add you. And I know you've been trying to get in with the connection, but I want to make sure we honor Dr. Phil if we can. So I'm going to ask everybody to hang in there. Here we go. Dr. Phil, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, great. Okay, so we're in our closing sequence. I want to just turn it over to you just to give you a chance to reflect and maybe share some final thoughts.
Yeah, well, I've been able to hear and see everyone just fine. I don't have video right now, but the audio is great. So no worries. Thank you for your endurance there. Yeah, it's just great to, hear the synergy. I know that, the scriptures say one can put 1,000 to flight, two can put 10,000 to flight. So I can only imagine what we're capable of if we'll just stick together and tell this message. But, as I look at the amazing ability to be well, doctors, no matter where they go to school, I can't imagine how they miss this one foundational truth, and that is that the brain has one primary function, and that is survival. That's what it does every day, all the time, and it's going to keep doing that until you take your last breath. I wonder sometimes when people are dealing with patients who go into a coma, if they ever wonder just possibly if the body had something to do with that coma, if it's not making that decision in order to sustain life rather than to destroy it. I wonder if they consider sometimes if even cancer is the body's way of trying to maintain its own health. It's so backwards the way we manipulate and push the body around so that we can worship a drug or even worship a doctor. We need to be humble and remember that the real meaning of the word doctor is teacher.
Yeah,
it means to be a teacher, and so I often I remember one of the lessons I learned is that the body actually cleanses in periods of 3 and 7, and you can actually set your clock by this. It's so amazing. If the body has a fever, if you don't mess with it with the drug, it will run its fever in periods of 3 and 7, and it will do this every time until it's finished with whatever its process is. And both of those numbers are God's numbers, 3 and 7. They're the number of completion. So we just should stand in awe of what we have here and stop trying to take the trophy away from this amazing design. And so I know that we have so much confusion. The averages in our American medical culture should speak to us loudly, but pride silences the voice of truth. Pride goes before a fall, and we get prideful. Yes. The truth is, we are the sickest nation in the entire world here in the USA. We have one doctor for every 8 patients. That's the best doctor-patient ratio in the entire world, and yet we're not even in the top 40% for health. Why in the world if I were going to a financial advisor that had those kind of averages and he was going to help me get out of debt, I'd have to be crazy. I'd have to be out of my mind. And yet our bodies are in debt. They're bankrupt. Why are we listening to people who know nothing about how to increase wealth in the body? And so people like Dr. Grant and the rest of you, these are people who know how to make deposits in the body so that we're not running on bankruptcy all the time. And so the way most people eat, they're bankrupting their bodies. They're continually bankrupting their body. And I tell my patients, medications work like credit cards. They just put the body on loan. You can't keep paying a debt with a credit card. You've got to stop doing that. And so as soon as they get the metaphor, they go, wow, I think I got the picture. I mean, do you mean I don't have aspirin deficiency? No, you don't. It doesn't exist. There's no such thing as aspirin deficiency or Tylenol deficiency. But you do have lots and lots of vitamin and mineral deficiencies, especially if you eat Pop-Tarts and you drink soda. There's no way for you to have a bank that is full of cash. And so, you know, it's so simple for us to see what's wrong, but the love of money continues to drive this train. It's so sad because no one takes any money with them. Warren Buffett won't take a dime with him when he goes. But what we do take with us are the lives we help. I believe that storing up treasure in heaven is where we should all be focused. And so it's sad to me that we continue to worship idols that are just dead, and they're not going to guide us into life. Children die every day. People lose their fathers. You know, I lost my father at the age of 42 to a heart attack that I know today was totally preventable. And I've never had the privilege of picking up the phone and calling my father and asking him, hey, what are you doing today? I barely remember him. And it was mainly because this information did not get to his ears. So we've got to be very vivacious and serious, and we cannot sleep. We have to tell the story, and we need it more now than ever, more than ever before.
Dr. Phil, that was the perfect way to put a great end cap on everything that happened today. I couldn't have said it better myself. Everybody's in awe of what you just shared. And you just hit it. You just rung the bell. You just spoke it. You spoke the truth that we all need to hear and that every listener needs to hear. So we have about 9 minutes left. We're going to do a round robin. And I just want to hear quickly just your final thought as we bring this to a close. Final thought. I'm going to go back the same way I came. I'm going to go quickly and again, we're talking like 20 seconds, 30 seconds, like quick. I'm talking quick. All right. So Daphne, I'm going to start with you. I'm going to go back the other way.
Sure. So everybody has a unique opportunity to learn from people who have been there, done that, and came out on the other side. I don't think there's a human being who wouldn't benefit from hearing these stories and reading these stories and using these stories as a blueprint to help your own health. You just can't get better than this.
Outstanding. Gregory.
Yeah, if you want to catch me at flow.page/QBL. And basically, knowing is half the battle. Call me and I'll let you know.
Absolutely. And I'm going to ask everybody to, when we're done, go in and put your contact info in there. So say that one more time. Flow, what is it?
Flow.page/QBL, quantumbalancelimited.com. That's where you can reach me.
Perfect. Okay. Let's go to Amy.
You matter. Your story matters, and you matter, and how you feel. In order for you to heal, you must feel. And it can be hard, but the more you embrace how you feel and turn your thoughts inward and look inward and actually just be curious and non-judgmental and love yourself, you will be able to move through it and get to a place of wholeness. And you can find me, you're talking about vibration. Oils raise your level of vibration. And so oilsandlifewithamy.com. Love to connect.
Oilsandlifewithamy.com. Got it. Okay. Mr. Jim Grant.
The thing I'd like to leave as the last thought is love yourself first, then you can love others. And
Yes.
please stop, because you got to remember your mind can only bring up the past. Please stop looking through the rear view mirror of life when you're trying to move forward. Look through the windshield of life for the love and the abundance that you're so richly entitled to. If you'd like to email me, it's inspiration@e360tv.com.
Inspiration@e360tv.com.
Mhm.
Mama Mo, you're on mute. Unmute. Yep. Perfect.
How am I supposed to follow that?
Well, I know you had something.
No, I do. My tagline is RAW, RAAW, and it's about rebuilding an authentic world. And I believe that each and every one of us sitting here together on this panel that's in this book, I believe that together we're going to rebuild an authentic world. We're going to get back to being authentic to ourselves, authentic to nature, authentic to each and every person around us, to share our stories and our journey to uplift and love all of those around us. And so I just leave you guys with that. If you want to look for me on Instagram or on Facebook, just plug in Mama Mo, all one word, MAMAMO, and you will see my face shining on there. And my email is mamamo.raw, RAAW@gmail.com.
Soon to be Queen Mama Mo, Dr. Grant.
Yeah.
So we're going to keep moving. Mr. Joe T.
I got 5 points really quickly. These are words of encouragement to anybody listening. You live in these daily mindsets. You are enough. You can. Your body is strong. You are worth it. And live in a life that what you value is along with how you live and what you do. What you value is how you live and what you do.
Beautiful. That nailed it. Okay, real quickly, Dr. Phil, one more quick thought.
Well, I just want to say that make sure that every time that you come across somebody, don't think that it is just by chance. And I don't mean to over spiritualize this, but when you're full of truth, there is no one that you come across by chance. No one. Just the fact that you're full of the truth, anyone you're in front of, you have an opportunity to share something with them. You don't know how powerful a word can be. The Bible says that life and death are in the power of the tongue. And sometimes just saying to somebody, hey, you look kind of down today. Is there something I could do to help you? That might stop a suicide. We're in a world today where suicide is off the charts. We have to remember that when we have truth, we're a shining light just because of that alone. And so don't take for granted anybody you come across. Shed the light, share the light, and make sure you never underestimate the importance of a kind word.
Yes.
Beautiful.
Mhm.
Connection. Unmuted. Welcome, everyone. I want to thank you for joining the rebroadcast today. This was our summit that was held on January 23rd in the middle of winter when we launched this incredible book, Your Health Turnaround Story. The reviews that I'm getting have been off the charts, heartwarming, touching. Some people were speechless at the stories because they were so moving and profound. You can get this book today. I'm going to share the QR code with you again. If you want a signed copy, message me. Signed copy, simply message me, Your Health Turnaround Story. I'm so honored and humbled by every single one of these people. They've touched me at a deep level. Certainly, we're putting out the project to touch the world. But when you go through a project like this, you are changed forever. You can never go back to what you were before. That's how valuable these projects are, because when somebody shares their story, you're on sacred ground. This is a sacred book. This is people's dark nights of the soul, their resurrection. How timely is that? Their resurrection from the dark into the light, encompassed in their health turnaround story. I'm going to close out with the QR code. For those of you on Apple TV, Amazon Fire, Roku, get that trusty phone out, get a QR code scanner, or simply use your camera. All phones are different. And do yourself a favor, get this book and share it with somebody who needs a health turnaround story. This is Austin. This wraps up our show. Have a great, great weekend, everyone. May God bless you.